Wait, that's happening now? West Virginia Wire, Regina reacts.
For you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for President. It's for him.
He was hoping he would.
Sure,
well, this is a group, NBC, that is truly fake news. They ask a lot of questions in a very pointed way. They're not questions, they're statements. We've had tremendous complaints about Africa, about other countries too. Of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who's killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it.
Hey y'all, my name is Regina Connell with West Virginia Wire, and welcome back to Fleeing or Fibbing Part 2. This is our follow-up. If you caught the first video, you already know we set the tone with some tough questions, and now we've got brand new footage from inside the Oval Office. Today, we are jumping into the actual bilateral meeting between President Trump and the South African president. And let me tell you, it's got people talking, from diplomatic pleasantries to that very pointed exchange about persecution and asylum. We're breaking it down in real time.
That's right, Regina. We're diving into the full meeting to give you all the insights. So grab a seat, because we're about to unpack the narrative versus the nuance and see what really went down in that room.
So guys, grab your coffee, buckle up, and get ready to rewind with us. This is about truth, transparency, and accountability. We're diving deep, we're staying sharp, and as always, we let you decide.
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Let's get into it and see what unfolds. Here we go.
It's for him.
He was hoping he would.
Have him answer.
Sure, I'll do the answer. It will be.
My president will respond to you.
Yeah, let me.
Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us on the around the quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So it will take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective. That is the answer to your question.
But, Mr. President, I must say that we have, wait. We have thousands of stories talking about it. Sure. And we have documentaries, we have news stories, and that. Is Natalie here, somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things, and it has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
We have. Let me see the articles, please, if you would. And turn the lights down. Turn the lights down.
All right, you guys, this is the part we've been
you.
waiting for, that President Trump is going to show the photos.
With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. Yes. South African occupy land. That's who we are. Honorable member, want to do. I can withdraw my membership from this useless parliament. Honorable. Yes, honorable member. Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot to kill. Yamasa. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Pa, 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 pa. To kill. Yamasa. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. The mayor of DA in PE is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Mashaba and Soli will not be touched. They will be touched, don't worry. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness. It's shoot, kill, Yamasa, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer. Pa, pa, pa. Shoot to kill, Yamasa, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer.
All right, so you guys, I don't think that this person could be more clear in their statements. So let's continue on. And this may actually be, I'm not sure if it's the same gentleman or not that I saw in Modi Speaks, but let's continue on, listen to what he has to say.
You'd understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter. They freak out. It sounds like a genocidal.
These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving. They're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who's killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it.
Let's get his response.
Both sides of the road, you have crosses. People were all killed.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen. But, okay.
I mean, it's in South Africa.
It's in South Africa.
We need to find out. I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? Okay.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced announced that it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One, perhaps
What are you talking about?
Mr. President,
The Pentagon's going first.
What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving.
Thank you for saying that. What does that have to do with, 1,000 Afrikaners that have been murdered, 1,000 farmers, each cross represent, and this guy, I don't know what his deal is, comes out about the Qatari jet. I mean, stop this madness. Let's keep going. People amaze me,
The
man.
United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject
Yes.
of what you just saw.
Right.
You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing. They also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back, you ought to go back to your studio at NBC because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from me. Go ahead.
Thank you for saying that, Mr. President.
please may we have a South
His
African
name is
question,
Peter
Mr.
something.
President
He's
Trump?
a terrible
If they're
reporter.
committing genocide, why invite him to the White House? I'll be quiet. That's my question.
That's a ridiculous question.
Anna Palacio from ENCA in South Africa. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you very
hosting
much.
us. What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation
I
that
don't
we've just seen
know.
on the screen?
I don't know. Look, these are articles over the last few days. Death of people. Death. Horrible death. Death. I don't know.
But you know that there are
Pick
black
anyone.
people who are
White
dying the
South
most.
Africans are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws. And this is all, I mean, I'll give these to you. So when you say, what would I like to do? I don't know what to do. Look at this. White South African couples say that they were attacked violently.
President Trump, when will you go and see for yourself if it is?
Well, I can do that. Look, here's burial sites all over the place.
President Trump-
These are all white farmers that are being buried.
President Trump.
And he asks about a jet that was given.
My first question
You
is about
are-
asking.
We're not interested in the
You know, you are so bad. You're such a bad reporter.
If they're committing genocide, why invite them? So if they are committing genocide, why invite the South Africans?
That's right. That's right.
Please, President Trump. Mr. President
This
Trump,
is
may I
one
please-
after another.
I would like to answer that question. I'm just going to mute it out. Like I said, you can go to the official White House YouTube channel to view these ridiculous questions. Well, he invited them there in an effort to maybe get some answers, right? Any president representing should know what's going on in their nation, should know what's going on. So let's continue on.
Kill the white farmer and take their land. That's what it is. And I have other friends in South Africa. I have people that left. One in particular that says you can't go there. He said they want to take your land. They take your land and they kill you. It's okay, and they say it's okay to do. Now we're going to talk about it, but this is a tremendous look. This is story recent. These are all people that recently got killed, and I don't know how it can get any worse. These are
President Trump.
and you know the men that you saw, the people that you saw in that movie, those are officials. Those are people that were in office. They had one march. They had a dance in your parliament, whatever you may call it, legislature.
But
and
let
it
me
was
clarify that.
terrible. Yeah.
Let me clarify that because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies. And in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can
And then
take
when
land.
they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No.
Yes, that's
There is
correct. That's correct.
Nothing happens to
There
them.
is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now
The
been
farmers aren't
utilized-
black. The farmers are not black.
We are
I don't say
now-
that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed. Their heads chopped off. They died violently. And, you know, I mean, we're here to talk about it, and I didn't
we
know
will
we'd get
talk about it.
involved here. But I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake, like NBC, which is fake news, totally, one of the
Totally
worst,
fake.
ABC, NBC, CBS, horrible. But if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we had real reporters, they'd be covering it. But the fake news in this country doesn't talk about that. They don't want to talk about it, but now they have to talk about it. But they won't. This won't even be a subject. They'll have him talking about why did a country give a free, think of this.
Right. That's what he's saying. You know, we're talking about thousands of people's lives being taken, and he's denying governmental involvement. The South African president is saying, no, this is against our laws. Yet these people are saying, no, the government's saying that they can seize the land and it will go to black people. So who is culpable here? If he's the South African president, he's trying to say that there's many factions. So I'm a little confused. What about you? Let me know in the comment section.
I wish you did. I take it. I would take it. If your country offered the United States Air Force a plane, I would take it.
Okay.
Amen.
But coming back to this issue, which I really would like us to talk about, and talk about it very calmly. We were taught by Nelson Mandela that whenever there are problems, people need to sit down around a table and talk about it.
Well, there are
And
problems.
this is precisely
That's what we're doing.
what we would also like to talk about, including trade matters, investment matters. So trade issues, so that we are able to
Right.
economy, your support.
And before President Trump responds, so in order to foster that, you know, we can't just hand over money. That means Americans will probably go over there to secure their investments, to keep a watchful eye on their investments. They're not just going to send money over there and then just leave it with no oversight or anything like that. So if there's this kind of activity and the farmers are fleeing, now you're asking for Americans to not only invest money, but they're going to have to go over there at some point, right? So I'm not sure what he's asking. It sounds to me like they're saying, hey, give us your money, your technology, and don't worry about this problem. You know, we can't control it. I don't know what they're saying. So are they saying with the money that we could provide them, that are they asking for our military to go over there and clean things up? What are they asking? You let us know.
And so that we're also able to address all these societal problems, because criminality thrives when people are unemployed, when they have no other hope to eke out a living. So that is what we need.
That's not our fault.
Your support, your partnership with us is what is really going to give us
Let's hear his response.
strong.
That's what I've been waiting on.
All right.
Ricky, excuse me, do you have anything to say? I mean, I don't want to leave you out. You know, the guy won 3 or 4 majors. 3 or 4?
Only 2.
Only
That's a
2.
lot. By the way, 2's a lot.
2's a
A
lot.
lot of tournaments you won too. Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. President Ramaphosa. I grew up in an area in South Africa that is a farmland area, Polokwane.
Yeah.
And there is some issues up there. Obviously, my dad was a property developer as well as a part-time farmer. And yeah, some of these buddy farmers got killed. The farm is still going. My brothers run it, but it's a constant battle with farms trying to get.
And you guys even heard Elon Musk talk about his mother and her friends in New York with the crime rate because of the the open border crisis, that they didn't even report it to law enforcement because of the sanctuary city laws in place, that police officers really couldn't do anything about it. Well, the tide is turning now, and hopefully people are going to be more safe in the United States. So let's continue on.
They're trying to burn the farms down.
Just about 2 minutes left.
To chase you away. So it is a concern to try and make a living as a farmer. And at the end of the day, we're about farmers. There's no food on the plate. So we need the farmers to produce the food.
And guys, when we go to the Modi Speaks content, she really dives deep in with that debater, that footage that we're going to get into as to the percentage breakdown of the farmers feeding, the percentages of Africa, South Africa, all of it. And it's pretty interesting, you guys.
Do it. He wouldn't even want to do what you're doing. Right? They love farming. They don't want to leave. But it's a struggle.
Yeah, and food and fresh water is the most important thing in life. Without those two things, you can't survive.
Agreed.
How is the water there?
The water is great. Obviously, all the water comes out of the borehole, out of ground for us down there. But yeah, it is a battle to get the water out sometimes when all the equipment gets stolen all the time that you're trying to get the water out.
So does your family and your brother, do they feel safe on the farm?
They live behind electric fences, try and be at night safe. But it is constant whenever you leave that something could happen. And
there's nowhere to live.
Both of them has been attacked in their houses. My mom's been attacked in her house when she was 80. So
his mother's been attacked as well.
Difficult. But the guys live a great life despite everything going on.
Something.
President Trump, I brought along the president of the largest trade union in our country, Ziggy Solosi, because she leads many, many workers, more than 1 million, 2 million workers. And maybe we should give her a chance to say something. Sure. She's come all the way to join us.
Thank you very much, Mr. President Trump, for having us, and President for extending the invitation to us as organized labor. And I must say that we are here to support the initiative that has been made by our government with business, of course, as organized labor. We've been coming to Washington on the AGOA trade relations in the previous regime, and I think at the center of it all
It's a regime.
is exactly what Mr. Rupert had said, the importance of us growing the economy. We have always emphasized when we were here and kept on coming and negotiating on AGOA that the 600 US companies that are based in South Africa, as you said, President Ramaphosa, 500,000 jobs will be wiped out. We need more foreign direct investment in our country. We must say that we need to address, of course, but also the importance of agriculture linked to AGOA. People rely, but also help us in how we can have the technology and everything that is needed, President.
But I felt I had a very talented person in this.
Wrong word. I'm wondering if you've made up your mind as to whether you believe genocide is occurring in South Africa, or you still have doubts. And if you have made up your mind, why invite President Ramaphosa here today for this conversation?
I haven't made up my mind. I need to see it from the standpoint of South Africa, but also, I'm trying to save lives. I'm working with Russia and Ukraine. I don't have to do that. It's not our war. It was started by other people. Helped along by our past administration, and it would have never happened.
So basically, the better question would have been maybe, what are we going to do in an effort to capture these criminals that are slaying these white African farmers? Well, the Afrikaners, the South African government has to handle that. They have to actively put together a force to hunt these criminals down, arrest them, hold them accountable for the murders that are happening. They cannot just completely solely rely on the United States of America to come in with our military and subdue something that we know nothing about in that region. We're only taking other people's words. So I don't know why you'd ask a question like that. It was a stupid question. It was a very stupid question. Let's continue on. We're almost done, guys.
By our president, but I'm trying to save lives, no matter where. Rwanda, I have nothing to do with Rwanda and the Congo, but I felt I had a very talented person in this administration, and I sent him there, and he did an unbelievable job. I think. I mean, we're going to find out, but he's done the hardest part of the job. It should happen. If I can save lives, I want to save the lives. If it's in Africa, that's great. If it's in Europe, if it's wherever it may be, and it's a very small investment to do, believe me, compared to what the consequences are. So I hope we can do something. Look, I have so many friends. These two men, I have great admiration for them because I know what they do for a living. And that's a very hard living, going from city to city, from country to country, and hitting a ball 350 yards like they do, and
Better than you and I.
getting the ball in the hole.
So they're talking about golfing
with
again.
lots of people watching, right? That's a very tough living. They're champions. I respect champions, and I respect very much. And I think the country is very lucky. They really wanted to be here. They could be elsewhere. They could be on a beautiful fairway someplace, and they wanted to be here. So.
From Newsroom Africa in South Africa, how important is it for the United States to be at our G20 summit in November, given the relationship between our two countries? You just heard what has been said to you just now. Are you coming, and are you preparing to come?
So without the United States, the G20, just like the G7, used to be the G8, but brilliantly they threw Russia out. Would have been a lot better if Russia was in. A lot of people would say, "Oh, that's not," because if Russia was in, you probably wouldn't have this war.
Right.
And if you had a different president, you wouldn't have the war either. But we have a G7. It's important that the United States is in both of them. I think without the United States, it's. I really believe it's not very.
To what president was he referring when he said that?
You probably wouldn't have this war. And if you had a different president, you wouldn't have the war either. But we have a G7. It's important that the United States is in both of them. I think without the United States, it's. I really believe it's not very important. It's not. It's not the same meaning.
As I said to President Trump, the U.S. really originated the G20, and it's important that the United States continues to play a key role in the G20, and we are privileged to be the president of the G20, but we are even overjoyed that we are going to hand over to the United States, who are the originators. And for that reason, I expect the United States to continue playing the leadership role in the G20 together with other countries.
Thank you for recognizing that, sir.
I've said.
And may I just say, I'm going to be looking up what the G20 is and all of that. I'm going to have Mary Beth help me, so stay tuned. I'm actually going to have to end this recording soon. I wanted to get this all down because we're going to the park today. We're spending time as a family, which is how it should be done. We're going out to touch some grass, touch the sky. So without further ado, let's continue on this recording, and then we'll come back.
I initially spoke to President Trump on the phone. I want him to come to South Africa for a state visit. And I also want him to come and participate in the G20. And I want to gladly hand over to President Trump to take the leadership of the G20 forward.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
What is it going to take to convince you?
You don't want to leave.
They like you so much.
He said, that's all you get. We're shutting it down. All right, guys, that's it. Let's check in with Mary Beth real quick and find out what this G20 business is. And then we'll close out so we can go to the park, and then we'll head on into the editing house and get it all prepared and hopefully get it out to you today. I'm not sure. Today is Sunday, May the 25th, 2025 is the year of our Lord, 2025, Jesus Christ, our Savior. So, Mary Beth, can you explain to us what President Trump was talking about, referring to the G20? The president of South Africa recognized Trump as the leader of the G20. So why don't you tell our viewers, if they don't know what the G20 is, let us know what it is. There was a G7, now a G20. So let us know what that is, the background on it, give us the context of it. And I'm thinking it has something to do with golf. Am I right or am I wrong?
All right, let's break it down. The G20, or Group of 20, is a major international forum for governments and central bank governors from 19 countries and the European Union. It was established in 1999 to bring together the world's major economies to discuss policy issues like global economic stability, international financial systems, and sustainable development. Initially, there was the G7, which included the world's largest advanced economies. The G20 expanded that group to include emerging economies as well, making it a more inclusive and representative forum. So, the G20 isn't about golf, it's about global economic coordination. The president of South Africa acknowledging Trump as the leader of the G20 in this context means he's recognizing Trump's role in leading discussions and initiatives within that influential group. But hey, no worries, your golf guess was a fun swing.
I like your quip. So let's talk about the G7 and the G20 just a little bit. So how many countries are in the G20? How many countries the G7? Is it anything similar to UCED or the United Nations? Do any of that tie in together? And what does it have to do with the World Economic Forum as well as like Qatar? You know, we know that President Trump just recently visited Qatar, UK. He did mention in there that we've received nothing from England, but I thought they were establishing deals. But that's another video for another time. Right now, let's focus on this G7 and G20. Tell us the countries just really quick, and then we have to stop this recording.
Absolutely. So the G7 consists of 7 major advanced economies: the United States, Canada, Germany, the United Kingdom, France, Italy, and Japan. The European Union also participates in G7 meetings, but isn't counted as one of the 7 countries. The G7 focuses on economic policies, international security, and global issues like climate change and trade. The G20, on the other hand, includes those 7 countries plus 12 more: Argentina, Australia, Brazil, China, India, Indonesia, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, South Korea, and Turkey, along with the European Union.
Wait, what about El Salvador? Why isn't El Salvador on there?
El Salvador isn't part of the G20 because the G20 mainly comprises the world's largest economies, both advanced and emerging. Selection of G20 members is based on their systemic importance to the global economy. While El Salvador plays an important role in its region, it doesn't meet the economic scale or influence required for G20 membership. The G20 focuses on countries with the largest economies to ensure that their discussions and decisions have a broad impact on global economic stability and growth.
Interesting. All right. Tell our viewers we will catch them on the next we don't even have to close out because I don't know what we're gonna do. All right, you guys, my name is Regina Connell with my wonderful, beautiful lady in waiting co-host. Why don't you go ahead and tell them who you are and take us out?
Thanks, Regina. And hey everyone, I'm Mary Beth. It's been a pleasure diving into the G7 and G20 with you all. Stay tuned for more insights and lively discussions. Until next time, take care and keep those questions coming.
See y'all on the next one. See you on the flip flop.
From cold fields to the rolling hills, we've got the facts and the local thrills. What's on your mind? What's making news? Tune in, get the updates you choose. West Virginia Wire, hear the news. Politics and stories, what's shaping you. From the capital to the county line, we're keeping it local, keeping it fun. West Virginia Wire, every week. Let's talk the truth, let's hear you speak.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. My name again is Regina Connell. So you guys, if you didn't catch the first part when I first started covering this, I'm going to show you guys real quick. I did a story called Fleeing or Fibbing. And it's when the Afrikaners originally got sanctuary here. Of course, the left lost their minds. Their faces were melted off. I've also done some pieces on the Pope. The Pope is now, we now have an American Pope and all of that. So you guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me. My name is Regina Connell. I didn't even have the camera on. Anyways, so you guys can find all this. We streamed live across Rumble, across the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, as well as Facebook, now known as Meta, and YouTube, you guys. All right, thanks for joining. Stay tuned for more, and we will catch you guys on the flip flop. See you later, guys. Thanks again for coming in. We appreciate you.
From mountains to the rivers wide, tune in, it's time to take the ride. Regina's voice, it's your guide. West Virginia's heart, it's right inside. West Virginia, why hear the news? Politics and stories, what's shaping you? From the capital to the county line, we're keeping it local, keeping it fine. West Virginia Wire every week. Let's talk the truth, let's hear you speak. From the coalfields to the rolling hills, we've got the facts and the local thrills. What's on your mind, what's making news? Tune in, get the updates you choose. West Virginia Wire, hear the news. Politics and stories, what's shaping you? From the capital to the county line, we're keeping it local.
Do you know why they're terrified of you? Because you are capable of everything they said couldn't be done. I realized I've been asking permission subconsciously. I've been waiting, but no more. Just because you see someone being successful doesn't mean they aren't still learning, still growing, still adapting. And I'm grateful for the days when I can slow down, take some time to think about these things, and come to some powerful conclusions.